Hello. How's it going? Hey, welcome to another Dharma talk. Yeah, just wanna make another video just talking about Dharma. Nothing else really. Impermanence, huh? See, if we look at everything, literally everything, even your awareness, even consciousness, yes, even consciousness, whoa, sorry. It's conditioned, right? So even if you say awareness is eternal, right? And it's all one awareness, right? And we're all just different waves in the ocean, right? Some people say that. I used to say that. What you're aware of always changes, right? And if awareness is not separate from what it's aware of, then it doesn't have any permanent form. And that means it's impermanent, it's conditioned, right? Also, it depends on a lot of factors. Like, you need to have eyes, you need to have ears, nose. Basically there needs to be a body or some sort of sensory organ, right? If you didn't have eyes, you couldn't really see, right? So that's another thing that makes awareness conditioned. But yeah, all things are conditioned. Everything, every thought, every emotion, every decision, basically everything. I don't know how else to put it. It arises due to conditions, and conditions change. And because things arise due to conditions and conditions change, nothing is truly permanent. Nothing at all. And because nothing is permanent, not even what most people call God, awareness, self, right? It cannot be regarded as me, mine, or myself. If it is regarded as me, when conditions end, me dies. If it's regarded as mine, when conditions end, what is mine is lost, right? If it's regarded as myself, when conditions change, myself changes. So it's just a label for a bundle of conditions that are not even in any way, shape, or form enduring. Conditions always change, right? Sabbe Sankara Anicca, Sabbe Sankara Anatta, Sabbe Sankara Dukkha. All conditioned phenomena are impermanent. All conditioned things are not self. All conditioned things are dukkha. Like, I'm trying to explain why samsara is dukkha. But just think about it this way. You can't build any stable foundation within conditioned existence. See, existence itself, from what we know it, like this, that, whatever, is conditioned. Like, I arose due to conditions. Like, I had to have parents, there had to be an environment, a language I learned, some knowledge. You can't even own your knowledge, it's conditioned, it's not self. Nothing is self. So, if I were to cling to my knowledge, my body, my mind, my emotions, or awareness, consciousness, when it ended, that would be dukkha. Isn't it kind of obvious that it's dukkha in the sense where it's just an infinite round of birth and death? Literally, to eat, you eat living things. Things keep on being born, decaying, dying, ending. Everything you love gets taken away from you. Everything. You can't keep anything. No skill, no knowledge, no house, no safety, no peace, no conditioned peace is lasting. See, a lot of these religions talk about the true self, God. But have you ever seen God face to face? See, people have mystical experiences, they hear voices, they have visions. They often are conditioned. Either some people take psychedelics and have a mystical experience, which is already a condition for it, or they use effort, concentration, and application to meditate and reach some sort of state of non-dual awareness, or they have visions of higher realms or a past life perhaps, and they mistake that for truth, and then they think, oh, I must know the truth. Yeah. But see, all of these things are conditioned. They arise only due to conditions, and all conditioned things are impermanent, so they cannot be regarded as me, mine, or myself. Whatever you are is just an aggregate of conditions supporting each other. Due to ignorance they arise. And freedom cannot be found within conditions, because conditions themselves are not self, they're not permanent. So permanent peace or permanent freedom cannot be found within conditioned things. Only when we stop clinging to conditioned things is freedom discovered. But see, then people like to twist this. Like, just stop clinging and then keep existing in samsara and enjoying things. But that doesn't work, right? Because delight in sensual pleasures, enjoyment of them, leads directly to rebirth, because what conditions further existence is a preference, a desire for sensual experience. That's one of the conditions. The only reason we seek out more experience is because we desire it, because we grasp at it, because we cling to it. See, what the Buddha taught is unlike anything any other spiritual tradition teaches. It may sound similar on the surface, but it's not really, because I'ma just put it out there, there's a lot of fake Buddhism. A lot of it. So much fake Buddhism. Hashtag Buddha never said that. You know how people have fake One Piece stuff that Oda said, but Oda never said it? You know how much fake quotes get attributed to the Buddha? Now, if anyone's ever read the Nikayas, I personally read them every day. I really enjoy Nikayas, the sutras. There's a lot of things they say the Buddha taught that he never taught. Never, ever. He never taught that. He gets misquoted all the time and basically watered down into your everyday spiritual practice when he directly disproved them. Like, if you read the sutras in the order they're presented, the first two sutras literally disprove 90% of the things people said that he said. Because the first sutra is the Brahmajala Sutra, Digha Nikaya 1, which he outlines 61 types of wrong view. And then in the Fruits of the Holy Life Sutra, or the Homeless Life, which is the second sutra in the Digha Nikaya, he basically, there's this king, and he's talked to many spiritual teachers in the Buddha's time, like Kasyapa, Kosala. They just teach different philosophies which could be directly compared to today as non-dualism, annihilationism, eternalism. And the Buddha directly disproves them. Like the whole there's nothing to do sentiment, the whole you're already enlightened sentiment, the whole you're already free sentiment. Those are pleasant sounding things. They are pleasant sounding things, I agree. You want them to be true. You want samsara to be this magical holy wonderland. But it's just a bunch of conditioned impermanent arisings, and they're dukkha. They are. Because they cannot offer anything. You cannot keep anything. And then they're gonna say, why are you trying to keep something? It's not that. It's if you enjoy something and it ends, that's dukkha. Like, you can pretend it doesn't. go along with that, but one day that patience is gonna run out. There's gonna be something you really like, or maybe you'll lose your life, or maybe someone will cut off your arm, who knows? And you're gonna feel the dukkha, you're gonna feel the burn. No one escapes dukkha. You can only put it off, you can bypass it. But as long as you delight in conditioned things, you will keep on getting born and you will keep on experiencing sickness and death and loss. And you can build a pretty strong foundation in this life, I agree. You can discover non-dual awareness and like bypass a lot of the dukkha. You can not cling to things and enjoy them without clinging, I agree. But the fact there's an enjoyment conditions more birth and death. And that sucks. Like, have you ever been really sick? If you have, tell me it doesn't suck. Tell me you can just accept it and be blissful. Tell me you're coping like that. Because I'm not gonna pretend being really sick is nice. Yeah, it's just another sensation. You don't have to label it as pain. But being sick sucks, bro. You're always liable for damage. Like, right now, a branch can fall off a tree and just hurt me, paralyze me, I don't know. I could like run in the forest, stab my eye on a branch, like meditate on messed up stuff. You know how you really know if you've transcended these things? Not by feeling like it because you're in a comfortable mental state, a comfortable state of consciousness, whatever. But by sitting down and going really deep, digging really deep, imagining, visualizing some really messed up stuff. And see how that, if it shakes you, I hope it does, it'll change how you look at these things. I personally do this every day. I sit down, I close my eyes, and I meditate on my loved ones passing away in various ways, being sick, being harmed, dying, being born again, going through gain and loss and dying again. And eventually, when you really see the impermanence of conditioned things, you look at them, seeing them clearly. That's what vipassana is. It's translated as seeing clearly. When you see the gratification and the danger in the gratification, when you see dukkha clearly, disenchantment arises. See, that disenchantment is like samsara losing a little bit of its grip. You're like, wait a second, wait a second. Everything comes with a cost. And that's a little bit, disenchanting. And that turns into dispassion. You're not passionate about pleasures anymore, about certain experiences. And that dispassion slowly changes to a sort of liberation. You're no longer bound by experience. That doesn't mean don't live out your life, That doesn't mean don't do things you like. That just means when you do things, see them clearly for what they are. Don't bypass the dukkha. See it clearly. That's the only way. People want to make up infinite copes to avoid practice, right? They want to say, they demonize effort. They say effort means you're trying to become something. You're trying to get somewhere. There's nowhere to get. And that's not true. Because conditions change. And effort is a condition that changes conditions. It's not all predetermined. Because karma is not always active. Like right now, if I ask what's 2 plus 2, you think of 4. You weren't thinking of that until the condition of my question arose. Right? Or I wasn't saying that until this is an example I often use lately, so it's the first thing that arose due to the condition of me trying to talk about karma. Even this me that I speak of is a conditioned arising. It points, it doesn't define, it points to this person you're seeing speaking. It's easy to say all is one, right? It's easy to say all is separate, but it's not easy to see both as wrong view. It's easy to say everything is fine, but it's not easy to face dukkha directly and let that liberate you. Now, What then? What? Okay, let's say you believe me. Okay, you see dukkha, you see the danger in just gratification, you see the danger in non-dual views, as in they bypass the dukkha and they sort of dehumanize the experience. What then? Well, my friend, luckily for you and for everyone, there is an unconditioned. Now, how would you know that there's an unconditioned within conditioned experience? Because everything you can know is conditioned, everything you can experience is conditioned, right? Even what some people call unconditioned is just them not seeing it clearly, because perhaps certain conditions persist for so long that some people mistake them for permanent. But if you see clearly, they also arise due to conditions. So even if it hasn't ended yet, the fact that it's conditioned means it's impermanent. So what's left? How do you know nirvana is real then? The unconditioned. Because some people say nirvana is just seeing samsara correctly, and that is a trap. That is not true. Because samsara is the conditioned and nirvana is the unconditioned. Imagine it like a fire. When the fire has the condition of fuel and a spark, it burns, right? When a fire goes out, does it go anywhere? Does it go anywhere? Does it go left? Does it go right? Does it go somewhere? Or did the burning simply stop? And what's left? Just the cool piece of no fire. And that's nirvana. You can imagine nirvana like this. You walk up a big hill with a heavy backpack. When you get to the top, you let down your backpack. That's relief. You let go of a burden. That is exactly what nirvana is. It's the ending of the burden. See, we cling to existence. We delight in existence. We're attached to existence. We try to reify existence by labeling it as God, awareness. We try to attribute an essence to a conditioned arising without any essence. Like I said, God didn't make milk. A cow made milk. God didn't make rain. Rain came from clouds. You're not conscious for any other reason than there's senses and they sense. It doesn't have to be material. It's just conditions arising new conditions. Now, if you take the knowing quality of experience, consciousness, and you reify it into some sort of essence, because the world itself is a conscious experience, you fall into the trap of eternalism. You suppose an eternal substance onto a conditioned, impermanent thing. Can you see how that will eventually lead to dukkha when it doesn't work out anymore? It can work out for a long time. It can. But when you get really sick, when a loved one dies, I don't feel like the most non-dual people can actually bypass that. So yeah, kind of just wanted to say something along those lines. Thank you for watching. Practice the Eightfold Path. Be diligent. Don't fall for the easy way out tricks. It's not about becoming something. It's about stripping away illusion, seeing clearly, piercing samsara with wisdom, untethering, becoming unbound, and ending the cycle of conditioned existence. It's about seeing dukkha so clearly that this passion itself leads to liberation. Nothing else. The work has to be done. The defilements must be uprooted. You can't just will yourself into enlightenment. That's one of the fetters, clinging to rites and rituals. There's no you to do it. That's one of the first fetters, self-view. And if you don't listen to the Buddha specifically, who outlined the only path to nirvana, you're just gonna be circling around in blissful states of consciousness, calling them truth, clinging to them, delighting in them, wishing for them to persist. And when they end, the dukkha's gonna hit, and it's not gonna be pretty. So everything is burning, so be diligent, practice, see clearly. Do not be complacent. That is all. Thank you for watching.